Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Force here with an opinion piece on Star Wars Battlefront. You could call it a review. Hell, you might even just call this a regurgitation of my thoughts here in video form on the game. So I want to let you know a couple of things before we get into the video. First one is that I played for about 40 hours now. So I've sunk some time in since the beta hasn't even been out for a week. That's a lot of video game in a short amount of time. Point is, I've really devoted the past week or so to this game, and it's because I've been enjoying it. I guess we might as well just come right out and say it. It's because I'm having a hell of a good time. I'm having a lot of, well, I don't want to say the F word here, but fun. Yes, I'm having a lot of fun. And I know to a lot of people that might not matter too much because they focus on other things as to whether or not they're actually enjoying a video game. And I'm going to dive into that here in this video. We're going to talk about this a little. It might get a little bit heated, not because I'm pissed, but because I want to be expressive with you guys. And I want to let you know how I feel about this. Because I'm seeing a lot of people just shit on this game, and it's fine if other people don't like it. Whatever, that's fine. But I do, and I want to tell you the reasons why. I guess one of the biggest things, and this is also one of those things I want to let you know, one of the biggest things is people are saying that it's not enough like Battlefront, or that it plays too much like Battlefield. We're seeing people on both camps there. Now, I'm in the convenient position of giving zero fucks, and the reason is because I never played any of the Battlefront games, and I barely played Battlefield titles. I mean, I have dabbled in them, usually playing for like a couple of weeks at a time, but I was never devoted to any Battlefield titles. So this, I say convenient, because I come into this game with no preconceived notions as to what it should be, what it could be, or what I'm hoping and wishing, like a kid sitting on Christmas. He wants his special action figure, but instead he gets a sweater, and he's super pissed off. I don't have that action figure desire coming into this game. So if I end up with a sweater, and I like the sweater, fantastic! Great sweater, it'll keep me warm. What is this analogy supposed to mean? It means that I'm playing this game, and without any thoughts of the game modes it should have, or the way it should play, or X feature or Y feature that is or isn't here, I'm just sitting down, playing a game, and saying, is this fun? Am I having a good time? Do I want to continue playing this? And I check in with myself every couple of hours, because sometimes I do drone on and I want to make sure that I'm still actually enjoying what I'm playing. It's pathetic, I know. It happens. I check in and I say, yes. The answer is yes, I am still having a good time. So that is very convenient, and I'm really happy about that. And you know, I'm not going to say that without empathy towards the people who were hoping it were less like Battlefield or were more like Battlefront. I totally empathize and I understand, because you've already played those games for, you know, maybe hundreds of hours. So if you're coming here and you're wanting more of something that isn't there, or less of something that is there, then you're going to be disappointed. Now, luckily, of course, those games still exist. You can still play them, although I understand Battlefront's a little bit more of a tricky issue because of server shutdowns, game services, and you having to find workarounds. That is unfortunate. And again, I'm not saying I don't have empathy for those people, but what I am saying is I don't care if it's not enough like Battlefront or if it's too much like Battlefield. All I care about is the experience that's presented before me, one that I am enjoying, and would I like to continue playing it? And once more, the answer to those questions are yes. So you might be asking why. What is it about this game, Force, that you happen to be enjoying? Well, it's a brand new experience. To me, it's a whole new freaking world. Cue a Aladdin song. I've never really been into it. I'm not a Star Wars nerd. Never really been into it. Don't really care too much, or at least I haven't, but now this is freaking amazing. The visuals and the sounds, so good. Now, the little recollection that I have of the original movies, it just swarming back, like from the back of my mind. And I guess also, I do have some affinity for the world, because I did spend a decent amount of time with Star Wars The Old Republic, but not because it was Star Wars, but because it was a mildly well put together take on basically World of Warcraft with the Star Wars universe. So, you know, I've got some memories of the game sounds and the universe and things like that, and those are just freaking, they seem like they're on point here. So good, so enjoyable. You know, I've been told that this developer in particular has been really good with sound in games prior. Now, again, I've never spent too much time with the Battlefield titles, so I can't tell you, but I do know that it honestly, it's gonna sound psychotic here, but I feel like I'm in the middle of a battle, like a legit, like I feel this. The sound work is so good, it's so intense, and it's so engrossing, and I have just been digging it. And then again, the visuals, the game looks glorious. I think the biggest thing for me is there was a point where I was on the Rebel team, crouched down, waiting for scrubs to come up over the hill so I could shoot them in the face, and I noticed the glistening of the snow on either side of the mounds in this little trench that I was in, and I said, this is freaking, I'm basically here. I am basically in this video game right now, and I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So the visuals and the sound, fantastic. The shooting, well, at first, I was actually a bit turned off because it doesn't really shoot like any shooters that I've played in recent memory. And the biggest thing with that is the way the phasers or blasters. Again, I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I'm sorry, I don't know. The phasers or blasters or whatever they're called. The way their projectiles, those like plasma-based laser things, whatever, the way they travel, you have to lead your target constantly. If you're shooting at a target directly in front of you who's strafing left to right and he's far away, if you just shoot right in your crosshairs, you are going to miss 100% of the time. So you have to anticipate their movement and shoot in that direction. And there's certainly some weapons that require that in other games, but I do feel like in a lot of games, you basically just line up your crosshairs and shoot. That is how most weaponry shoots in most shooters that I've played over the past 5 or 10 years. This is different. Took a little bit to get used to, but now that I've gotten used to it, check out the video footage behind you. I'm wrecking some face. Like, I've been doing exceedingly well. Honestly, in most games, I am in the top 5 in most matches that I play in. It's just, I don't know what it is, and I do know that I have this particular affinity for third-person shooters. I've always enjoyed them, and in particular, always looked for a third-person shooter that had a multiplayer that I could get into. And I'm exceedingly happy that this is one of those games that's going to be a AAA title, and hopefully has a huge player base, because for me, that just means a bunch of people that I can shoot, and that's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy that. So, although at first it was a little bit of a turn-off, I have come around to the shooting, and I have really enjoyed it. The other thing that I want to talk about is the vehicles. The vehicles, I guess like the game itself, they seem to be a bit divisive. Some people are saying they're way too strong. Some people are saying they're not strong enough. I would actually argue that they're fairly balanced, with the exception of the AT-AT. Now, I put up a video the other day about AT-ST going on a total rampage. Funny thing is, that never happens when I'm on the Rebel Forces, because I always make sure 110% to turn on my ion blaster and shoot that thing in the face as well as with some cycler rounds. It dies relatively quickly. Or, of course, if I'm in the X-Wing or A-Wing, it dies even quicker. So, the AT-ST, while strong, if anyone on the Rebel Force knows what they're doing, it's going to die very quickly. Even if only 1 or 2 people are just keen enough to focus fire, it's going to die very quickly. The AT-AT is just absurd, especially in that last leg on Hothwalker Assault. It dominates. Now, again, I'm only talking about this map and this game mode. Maybe the AT-AT won't be quite as strong in other maps that it's present in once the game launches, because it's really the biggest problem is the huge line of sight and the like clear, just straight fire to all of the Rebel spawn points in that third wave. It is ridiculous. I'm not showing footage of it here, but I'm probably going to put up this video. I went like 87-3 in a match when it was just basically a vehicle match. It was first AT-STs, then I hopped into some TIE fighters, and then I was in ATs for the last half of the map, and I just obliterated. But yeah, the AT-AT in that last leg, it's a bit strong right now, but I think the AT-STs are fine. I think the air play seems to be fairly balanced. Now, there are particular matchups which are better than others, like sometimes the TIE fighters, at the first round, the TIE fighters have technically better maneuverability than the X-Wings, but I do feel like if the X-Wings get a good line of sight, they're going to take down that TIE fighters super quick. The A-Wings are incredibly strong, which is how it should be. At the end of the day, the Rebel Air Force needs to be better than the Imperial Air Force for them to have a chance. But frankly, I don't know that I really want to go into this like deep meta analysis of the Hothwalker Assault map, because this is only going to be a portion of the game once it launches, and the balance side of that stuff doesn't really matter too much. Now, I've been talking about the things I've liked and why I am ultimately enjoying this game, but there are certainly some things that need to be fixed. As alluded to in a prior video as well, the one with the AT-ST rampage, the spawn system in this game right now is just trash. The spawn system for Hothwalker Assault, as it stands in the beta, it needs to be fixed. They can be camped way too hard, and while, as I've talked about, the ATSTs can be taken care of, it's still a bit of a crapshoot. Like, you'll have 5 or 10 people spawn right in front of you. You left click a couple times and then hit 3, and a lot of them are gonna die incredibly quickly. So I think it needs to be fixed. If the Imperials really know what they're doing, even though you can fight back because you've got a brief immunity, it honestly isn't enough. A couple of headshots and you're gonna go down way too quickly, and it's really not that hard to get those headshots in this game. So I think the spawn system needs to be adjusted. I'm no developer. I'm sorry, I can't come up with possible solutions. You push them further back, you make their immunity longer, you spread them out more. There's a few off the cuff, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Someone else needs to figure that out, not me. Second issue that I've been having with the beta is there's been some invisible walls issue. Really, it's a matter of clipping terrain that you shouldn't be clipping with your projectiles. So what I'm talking about, this predominantly comes up when I'm shooting over rocks in particular. It appears that I should be shooting over them, but then my weapon fire is actually just stopping at the rock, although it should be going over. And that's just a matter of, you know, the polygons going up a bit too far from the terrain and it not being visually present, but it obviously being there and hitching up. So that needs to be fixed, because that shouldn't, especially in like a high budget, highly advertised AAA title like this, we shouldn't be dealing with that crap. That needs to get fixed. And then I think the third issue that I've had is that the heroes actually seem slightly underpowered. Now, similar to the ATST, they can go on a tear and absolutely dominate a team, but that relies on the opposing team just not knowing what the hell is going on and not knowing how to combat them. The heroes can be taken down very quickly if the team is paying attention. So I do feel, I don't know what, maybe their maneuverability needs to be a little bit better, so they just can't get focus fired and only end up getting like 1 kill or something. But anyways, that's just my opinion on that. As I talked about at the top of the video, I think the thing that matters the most to me, and it should matter the most to you as well if you're a video game player, is, are you having fun? Now, my answer to that question is yes. But my answer to that question is yes, knowing that I never played Battlefront and I barely played Battlefield. So if the game doesn't provide too much of a difference or lacks features that you think should be in it, then maybe you're not going to have fun. But as a third-person shooter, the infantry gameplay, the gunplay is sound, the visuals and the audio in this game is freaking amazing, and I love the vehicle play just because it can be hilariously OP, or you could just get blown up in the face, so it's one of those risk versus rewards situations based on the knowledge of your opponents. Either way, end of the day, yes, it's enjoyable. Yes, I'm having fun. Does that matter? To me, it does, and for that reason, I plan to keep playing it. I know the beta is ending soon, but once the game launches, I'm going to be jumping right back in. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below to any of the things that I've discussed, or something I may have very well missed. It's certainly a possibility. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a fantastic afternoon. I will see you later.